How's it going, YouTube? Welcome to the nest. Ron here with Crow's Blades. What's in your pockets? What you have for lunch? I got to know. Let me know what you're carrying and had for lunch in the comments below. Today we are reviewing the Sencut Bronte. That's Sencut Bronte. So good, you got to say it twice. Links to this knife and other items I use are located in the video description. Let's get on with the review. Hey everybody, welcome back. As I said, we are doing a review on the Sencut Bronte. This knife has black micarta scales, and micarta is a high pressure laminate composite made by layering natural materials like linen, canvas, or paper with phenolic or epoxy resin and curing them under heat and pressure. The pocket clip is folded over stainless steel clip. The clip screws are inset to allow more space, but unfortunately the clip is not inset into the scale. And let's see how well it goes into the pocket with my sample jeans. All right, so we're gonna take this and by magic just push it in and boom, like these folded clips, stainless steel clips, because they slide in and out of the pocket fairly easy. As you can see, it is deep carry, and there is some tension on the clip, so you shouldn't lose your knife doing your flippity flops or your somersaults. So be thankful for that. But like I said, or you saw, that it slides in on the pocket very easy. The liners of this knife are coated stainless steel, which is partially milled out. At least the top one is completely, it has some milling. The bottom one does not, but this is a liner lock, as you can see. It relieves the weight and it actually gives this knife a really good hand feel. It feels balanced. The blade steel is 9CR 18 MOV, 9CR 18 MOV. Let me get that out there. Which is a high carbon, high chromium stainless steel, often considered a Chinese equivalent of 440C. The sweet spot for the HRC is 58 to 60. Any higher, and the blade steel can be a little chippy. So we don't want that to happen. And as it should happen, the blade steel for this knife is actually rated at that sweet spot, 58 to 60. So there you are. The centering for the blade, fairly centered. It looks like it's favoring the show side a bit. Yeah, it's not exactly centered, but for me, as long as it's not rubbing against the liner, whichever side it's leaning to, interfering with the movement of the knife, it doesn't really bother me too much. I'm gonna when I do the tune up on this knife, we'll see if we can't fix that. It could just needs tweaking, or just taking it apart and putting it back together. That often works. Sometimes it surprises me how often it does work. Let's get some blade measurements, and we'll do some knife comparisons and move on. Okay, so this knife falls in at about almost 3.5 inches. Okay. The knife blocks it for me seeing it, but maybe, yeah, about 3.5, a little shy. And about 3 1/2" cutting edge, as you can see, and the whole knife falls at about 7 3/4 in length. So not a small knife. It's fairly sizable, but because of the milling and the thinness of the handle, it just feels balanced and good in the hand. Unfortunately, we have those little nick picks, but we'll go over that again in a moment. We're gonna compare these knives to, let's see, the Kaiser Renaissance and the Kaiser Milita. Could fall in between the two. It's actually closer to the size of the Milita than it is the size of the Renaissance. Renaissance being a tad shorter, and the Sencut Bronte is just a little bit shorter than a full-size Milita, which makes it a good-sized knife. You know, it's what I would consider a large knife, at least as far as the lengths go. And we'll get the attack ray, the Viper, which it falls shorter than, and the Olaton's Lemon Shark, purple crowd. There we go. So it's a little longer than the Lemon Shark, and a tad shorter than the attack ray Viper. So, like I said, it does make it a good sized knife. I really like how this knife feels in the hand. I love the blade shape. I think they call this a reverse tanto, or as some people call it, American tanto. I would maybe call this modified Warncliffe. Just I like how the blade's shaped with a little narrower here as opposed to here, and the ergonomics is fantastic. And like I said, it is very fidgety. The major drawbacks is the detent being so stiff that it's hard to use the front flipper. As you know, I like multiple ways of deployment. It adds to the fidgety factor. Ergonomics is great, and you can really bear down on this knife without feeling the clip too much. No hot spots. It just feels really good in the hand. The other nitpick I have with this is the exposure to the liner lock. It's a little harder to dig into, get to the liner lock. It's not exposed enough. What they need to do is chamfer this out a little bit more, give you more space to get to the liner lock. But it's not undoable, and you know, it works really good. I can't highly recommend this, but I would give this a basic recommendation. It works. It's sharp. It's pointy, very pointy. Look at that. Look at that point. The punch grind is pretty good. You'll probably get a bunch of sharpenings out of this, and the blade is very, very thin at the at the cutting edge, so it'll slice through cardboard and paper with ease. This knife, at the time of this recording, costs $45.99 at White Mountain Knives, and also at the Sencut/Artisan Cutlery websites. Yeah, I would give this a recommendation. I would definitely buy this knife. Just hope when I do the tune-up that we can adjust for the front flipper and the centering of the blade. If you like this video, subscribe for more content, and if you're shopping for gear, check out the video description for the stuff that I use for knife maintenance and knife sharpening. Some of the links may or may not be affiliate links. Affiliate links benefit the channel at no cost to you, but may or may not be attached to coupon codes, which will save you some money at checkout. Please like, subscribe, and leave a comment. I like to hear from you. Thank you. We'll see you in the next one. Keep your blades sharp and your wood hard.